Well, hello there, everyone. It is Sunday, June the 5th, year 2022. How's your Sunday going, if it's Sunday when you see this? My Sunday morning been fun. I've been running numbers for different things. I've cleaned my pool a little bit, chased a couple iguanas away, and so on and so on. Just had some watermelon to eat too. Trying to eat very healthy. Lots more fruit, a lot more vegetables, many more salads. Of course, I do enjoy my meat too, but I've cut way back on sugar and that sort of thing. So trying to get healthier. Anyway, with that being said, I'm pretty excited right now because I've been running numbers. And why am I excited? Oh, before I tell you, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a CPA. I am mazske. I share stories, I share experiences, etc., etc. And as I always say, if I could be a low-income type worker all my life, have two children, my wife being a stay-at-home mom for a period of time, being a low-paid employee for another period of years so she could be around the kids more, if we can do it, so can you. My belief is every single working American can purchase a rental property if they so desire. And most do not desire to. So with that being said, let's move on to why I am a little bit excited this Sunday morning. As you may have heard if you've watched my channel or watched any recent videos, I have purchased a house in Gary, Indiana. I purchased it with cash. I bought it for, I believe, $45,500. I then have been renovating it. I haven't got the final bill in yet, but I put approximately $15,000 in for renovation, plus or minus. Okay? And then, so we'll just say ballpark it at about $60,000, maybe $60,500, all in. All right, money out of pocket spent. And maybe throw in some closing costs. Let's just say we're at $62,000. Okay. Because you pay cash, closing costs are less than when you get a mortgage. Okay, now I don't remember exactly what they were without looking. So anyway, I got that house. And that house I bought that in March. That was the third house of three that I bought. I bought two in Chicago, one in Gary. The one in Gary is now finished. It looks beautiful to my eyes. They did a great rehab on it. I could live there myself. It's a cute house. I've had some landscaping done in the yard. I've had the backyard seeded inside it. Grass is growing. Inside work done. Electrical, plumbing, hardwood floors. Oh, more. It's pretty. You saw Kurt do a walkthrough of it if you watched that video. Looks good. So anyway, that house, they have it marketed right now at rent. They're advertising at $1,300. We'll see if they get that. We'll see. It could be $1,250. It could be $1,200. But we'll see. All right. And then I have another house in Gary that I bought 2 years ago, let's say, utilizing seller financing. Real quick on the seller financing when I got it. It's not bad, but it's not the best. It's not the worst. And what I did I have 9 houses I bought like this. All 9, I have seller financing. What we did was 30-year amortization. So it's a 30-year loan. Interest rate was 4.9%. This was 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, 4.9 was a little on the high side. So 30-year amortization, 4.9% interest rate. But there is a balloon payment due at 15 years. So I get that 30-year amortization cash flow for years 1 through 15. And whatever the balance of that mortgage is at 15 years, I owe that money right then and there. All right. Or, there's always options. I can refinance or do whatever. So anyway, I got those 9 houses. And I've been wondering, what do I do with those 9? I'm roughly 2 years into it, I think. Do I ride it out for another 13 years and see what happens? But then I have this opportunity now with this one house I pay cash for. I believe there's 2 different lenders I've been talking to. And one lender, as of a couple months ago, told me they cannot do mortgages in Indiana. They can do them in Illinois, they can do them in Chicago, but that's Kiavi. They can't do them in Indiana. Now, that could have changed. I'm going to call them this week. That could have changed. If it has changed, then I will compare interest rates, and I'd probably go with Kiavi, if I say that right. But because with them, I can do one house at a time, 30-year fixed rate mortgage, and whatever interest rate they give me. But now the other lender they're both non-QM lenders. The other one is Velocity Mortgage. Velocity Mortgage, as long as nothing has changed, has told me they can lend on homes in Indiana. I've talked to Stephen Dow several different times. We've emailed. He can do houses in Gary, but his criteria, unless it's changed from the last thing he told me, was the minimum value of a single house can be the lowest value is $50,000, but to get a loan, the value, it can be more than one house. You can do 2 houses, 3 houses, 4 houses to get a mortgage on a portfolio loan over them all. So the minimum combined balance is $100,000. Like say you have 2 houses, exactly $50,000. $100,000 together, you could get a mortgage over both of them. Okay, I believe it's based on credit score. My credit score is around 800, and interest rates will be based on that and the various terms. But I believe, I don't have those notes in front of me, they will either, if I want, see, what I would do is talk to Stephen about refinancing both those houses, the one that has a 0 mortgage on it and the one that has the mortgage from the seller. I will talk to him about combining both houses. My belief is if I get appraisals on both, they may appraise in the range of 60 to 70K for low, 90 to 100K on high. Somewhere in there. Could be a little higher. I don't think it'd be lower. Prices have gone up, so I really don't. But with appraisers, they're subjective. Everyone's different, so I can't predict. All right. But the other house that I have is currently renting for $1,250. So the one I just rehabbed is marketed at $1,300. The other one is renting, and I've had a tenant there for I don't know a while, paying $1,250. I think September. So their rent may be due to go up soon. So, excuse me. So anyway, if I can get a portfolio loan over both of them, I believe the minimum loan is $75,000. If they both appraise at $80,000, that's $160,000. 75% of $160,000 is more than $100K, whatever. I wrote it down somewhere. But what I would do to maximize cash flow in my pocket is probably refinance at the lowest dollar amount they will let me, which is either, I believe, $70,000 or $75,000. And I would do that. So I've run the numbers using $75,000. No, I've run the numbers using $100,000. Not knowing if I can get exactly $100K back, but using $100,000. What it would be is, if it's successful, they will give me a mortgage on these 2 houses. And if I get a mortgage for $100,000, I ran it at 6.5% and 7.5%. Because I don't know exactly what interest rate I'll get. They're fluctuating. They went up. They've pulled back just a little bit. As an investor, you pay higher than what you pay for a homeowner. If you're using a non-QM lender, you're probably going to pay just a little bit higher than if you're using a conventional bank. Okay? But at 7.5%, the total mortgage, principal and interest, is $699. So we divide that by 2, and there's some cents there, but divide it by 2, and it's $349 per house. Okay, so I'm pretending, just hypothetically, that I have a mortgage on both these houses as, let's just say $350 for $350. That's principal and interest, not counting taxes and insurance. I know what taxes and insurance are because I'm paying taxes and insurance on both these houses. Okay, so then what I would do probably, if this is successful, whatever rate I get, and I can go higher than 7.5 if I have to. If they say rates have jumped up and they're going to be 8.5, I can probably do that. Because the first house that I have seller financing with, the current cash flow on that is $596. That's after paying the mortgage, principal and interest, tax and insurance. It's almost $600. That's a lot of cash flow. My mortgage balance on that is something like $38,000. If it's worth $90,000 or $80,000, I have a lot of equity in that house. All right, the other house, if I pay cash for it, I again have a lot of equity in that house. So if I get this portfolio loan over both, and I always try to go on the high side. Let's say I get 7.5%, then hypothetically, my mortgage is $350 per house. My cash flow will drop on the house that's already rented from 596 maybe down to $490, $460, depends on exactly. I was tweaking things differently. Say 460, say 450 for easy math, 450. The house that has no mortgage on it currently, that house, I don't have those notes. I didn't write it down on this sheet of paper. It's in a spreadsheet. If it rents at $1,300, or I even put down, I think $1,250. If it rents at $1,250, I'm still cash flowing like close to $400 on that one with that mortgage of $350. Okay, so this is the beauty of BRRRR and refinancing. If you're successful with BRRRR, remember I have a video about BRRRR being risky. There's risk, especially when you borrow the money, because when you borrow the money, you have to pay it back, right? So if you have a hard money loan, you have to pay it back. If you borrow from a HELOC, you have to pay it back. Borrow from a friend, you have to pay it back, all right? But if you get to the point in your investing career where you have cash, if you can do a BRRRR strategy such as the one I just did, where I bought a house for 45, all in at 60 grand to buy it and to rehab it, and it may appraise at, let's just say 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, somewhere in that range. I can refinance it, especially when I combine it with my other house, and probably get more than all my money back. It makes it a free house, which means my numbers, means my cash on cash return is basically infinite. All right, if it works, that's a successful BRRRR if it works, and it gets me out with the other house. It gets me out under that 15-year balloon that's hanging over me on 9 houses. Not that I'm worried about that, because I have 13 more years to go. I might not be alive in 13 years, but I have 13 more years to go. So over the next 13 years, I plan to deal with these ahead of time. I'm not going to wait till the last minute, unless I get to the point where I have a high enough income that I know when I get to the 15-year mark, I can just write a check and pay the rest, say the other 8 houses, pay them off. You never know. Maybe I'll do that. All right. So what do you think? Should I be excited? This is why I'm excited. If it all works out, these 2 houses, I could get potentially $100,000 back. It might be a little bit less. Maybe it's 80 or 75. Let's just say 75. I get $75,000 back. I basically have a free house. If I look at it one way, a free house in Gary. And the other one that I already have a mortgage on, that's a 15-year balloon, I now have a 30-year mortgage. And maybe my mortgage balance is a little bit higher, but it's still good. It's renting at a high enough number. It's still cash flowing very well. So that's why I'm excited. I watched a video the other day with Dion, and Dion said he was excited because he had just written an offer on the deal, and it hasn't been accepted yet. Maybe by now it has been. But he was excited. And he had said something like he has 16 units and he still gets excited. I've had 25 units. I have oil. I have mineral rights. But it's still exciting when something comes to fruition, when it starts working out. It's just exciting. So if you can do the BRRRR, again, is risky. You have to realize there's risk. Don't just jump into it. But if you can do it, because we're in rising interest rates, we're in a difficult environment now, but it can still be done. It can still be done. I could probably get an interest rate of 9% and it would still work. I could probably get an interest rate of 10% and this would still work. It may not cash flow quite as well, but it would still work. So that's why it's exciting. All right? If I can do it, so can you. This video is long enough. Stay safe in all you do. Mazske is signing out.